Thanks for clicking on the video. My name's Tom Alsop. Today I'm going to be talking about creating lag on your forehand to help you to get more racket speed. Now I'm going to talk about two different actions. One being pulling into this position and one being throwing. I'll tell you why you shouldn't be pulling and why you should be throwing. Now I think the goal for everyone watching this should be to develop a more coordinated forehand. I often use the word kinetic chain, but really it's a coordination chain. Understanding how you can use all of your body in the right sequence at the right time to transfer energy up through the legs, into the top half of the body, through the arm, and ultimately into the racket. So you can see the coordination here, you can see the fluidity, and this is really what we should be aiming for. Now for 99% of tennis players out there, if you are pulling, your coordination will break down. And it's pretty simple why that would be. If you think about pulling something, let's say, forget about a forehand for a minute, you're pulling a rope, you're going to engage your muscles a lot. You're going to be pretty tight. Now if you do that while you're hitting a forehand, the issue is you're going to hold on to that body part. Whatever's tight, you're going to be so tight and you're going to hold on to it for so long that the energy won't pass through your body and activate the next link in the chain. So in order to really execute a coordinated forehand, yes, we need to use our body in the right order, as in we use our legs, well, start with the feet, the legs, the hips, the shoulders, the arm, like everything's working and we feel like everything's working in the right order. But to truly master it, you need to stop the previous link in the chain to fire the next one. And as I said, when you're pulling, you always hang on to something for too long and the energy doesn't pass through the body to the next link in the chain to really fire, ultimately, the racket. So I believe we should be thinking about the forehand as a throwing motion. There's two reasons for that. The mechanics are very similar. The way you use your body, the coordination from the ground up and through the arm will be very similar. If you're skimming a stone across a pond, if you're throwing a ball sidearm, even if you're throwing it up here, but the more sidearm you throw it, the more it'll look like a forehand. So this move here, also like throwing a frisbee, sidearm. But the mechanics there will be very similar to this. So the coordination will be very similar. If you can throw, you can hit a forehand. You can think about how to move your body in very similar ways. The second thing will be when you throw, everything gets released, right? We're releasing everything. We don't hang on to anything because we're trying to release the tennis ball. Now people will say, hey Tom, the mechanics are so different because you're not actually throwing the racket over the net. Like, yeah, I get that. You know, way to go on playing spot the difference there. But even though we're not actually letting go of the racket, we do want to feel like we are releasing the racket as we're coming into the strike there. If you don't, you're not going to get any power. So feel like you're using the same mechanics as a throw and you're releasing your body like you would when you were throwing. And what's going to happen is the racket will naturally lay back. We'll get the lag that I spoke about in the beginning that we're trying to achieve. But that's going to be because the body rotates and the wrist is relaxed enough that it lays back, lags behind, and then catches up. But it'll only catch up right if we're relaxed enough to release the next link in the chain. If we are pulling here, there's a good chance that won't happen. Now, if you watch the greatest tennis players in the world, it may look like they're pulling because they're doing everything so fast. So everything gets started and stops so quick that this ends up being pulled along for the ride and it accelerates at the right time. But to think what they're doing is pulling is to really not understand how it came about, how they developed that kind of motion. That just happens because of how fast they are moving their body and how quickly they can start and stop their body to fire the next link in the chain. So it may look like they're pulling here, and maybe some of them will tell you, yeah, I am pulling. But they're able to do the cheekiest little pull for like half a millisecond and then release it. Whereas your average tennis player, when they try and pull, they just hang on to the shot for too long. Everything gets stiff, they lose racket speed, and because their arm is so stiff, quite often the shoulder, the elbow, even the wrist, they struggle to make adjustments. So personally, I don't think you should be trying to develop any strokes in pieces. Stop, drop, pull, none of that stuff. Develop smooth rhythmic strokes. Your coordination is going to be better. You're going to be able to make better adjustments. You'll get more power. I could go on and on. So stick with this. It's not only going to help you with your forehand, it'll be the same with the serve, same if you're playing golf. Everything has to be rhythmic. Playing baseball or even throwing a ball, everything has to be fluid. What you don't want to be doing is stop, pull, rubbish. What's even better is you can go to tpatennis.com, work with me one-on-one. You can send me unlimited videos each month and I'll respond with personalized advice to help you with your game. Talk to you soon.